Good morning. Happy weekend to all my Support Fibromyalgia friends. This is a special broadcast. I've been trying to do more lives of this. So hello to all my Support Fibromyalgia friends. If you are tuning in live, please leave a comment and or an emoji and let me know where you're tuning in from. Please like and share these videos. We are doing more broadcast videos on education. And today I'm going to get a little bit, well, I guess more in the realm of like sciencey. So sometimes I like to do more of the science on the weekend. So Science Saturday, Science Sunday, you can roll with it. So if you're out there, give me a shout out. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from as we broadcast and just learn a few things. I'm just going to do some shout outs to people through a deck, and then we'll get into the content series. And today I'm going to just give just a quick update on how to navigate PubMed, because that keeps coming up when we're talking about reliability of science. This is learning what we can do as patients. And I know sometimes it's a lot to rely on ourselves to do the research, but you never know when you may need it. And filter this information out to your providers. I'm not sure. There's a lot of providers that do the similar research as well. So it's important we take this information and go further. So let's get started with some of our information. I might toggle back and forth with this new deck as I'm trying out stuff. So first of all, happy birthday to that gaming dad, Ted. Major shout out. You are leveling up. We are all leveling up together. I appreciate all the work that you do and the support for the Support Fibromyalgia Network. So happy birthday, my friend. Cheers to you, and big major virtual hugs to you and your family as you celebrate this great weekend. If you are, look out for Ted on Twitch, and I'll be sure to put the links and connect him if you, depending on what you're streaming on. He does some great streams. We love seeing him online. So shout out to Ted at That Gaming Dad. If you haven't already, please take a moment to register for the International Pain Summit. It's coming up November 11th through 13th. It is all virtual, so please join. I will be part of the Hero of Hope, and then we have some other amazing speakers that you've heard from at the Impact Tour. So some of our friends are speaking live. It's a great informational days of it that you can learn about and just be involved with. So please go support the International Pain Foundation and register for the International Pain Summit. And if you are on Facebook, we appreciate those birthdays. So thank you so much for doing birthday fundraisers. Giving Tuesday is going to be coming up shortly. We have a round of giving. There's a lot of giving opportunities that we want to do at the network, and all of the donations go 100% back into our programming. So I'm a volunteer executive director. We have a full team that kind of just volunteers their time, but we like to support the community as much as possible. So we are working on holiday giving program as well that we are looking to support and launch. It's something new with our advocates. And then we are organizing and launching Project Echo, which takes funding, and we always appreciate all the birthdays on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook and you do set up a birthday fundraiser, please let me know, because sometimes Facebook isn't, when we get the reports, we don't have specifics on names. So if you do, I do like to send people a personal thank you card from the organization. So just let me know, and I want to just personally thank you and let you know that it's appreciated. We also have other ways to give. So shopping season is coming up. Please support our organization through Amazon Smile. It is similar to shopping on Amazon, the exact same items, but proceeds of your purchase go directly to our organization and support the organization and the programs. And we do have affiliates set up with the Frida Botanicals, and Dr. Lipton generously donates proceeds to our organization. So thank you to her. I hope she's doing well. I know she's in between a move for the Frida Center. Okay, so the topic for today that I wanted to go into is searching PubMed. And there's been a lot of like, okay, so how do you search for information? How do you get more information from this? So we just wanted to like dive in as a topic, because I've been seeing, I mentioned to everyone before that I'm going through some of my emails, and if there's a good topic from my emails, I'm going to just take it and add it in, create these things, because I'm really trying to keep up with all these lives daily, although I missed yesterday. But you can find us and like tune in, subscribe to all our channels, like and share with all your friends as I keep up the momentum. And if there is a topic that you want me to talk about in the videos, please let me know and reach out. And I'd love to like figure out how to share with you on some of these other additional topics, especially related to fibromyalgia. Okay, so just to address, PubMed is a US government database that includes citations for more than 32 million scientific papers. It's available online for free. And just to let people know, most of the journals indexed in PubMed are peer reviewed, but they're not always. And just because a paper can be found on PubMed, it does not mean necessarily it's what they qualify as a good scientific paper. And when I was doing the deck for this, just to like do more research on what that meant, I guess there is some controversy on how certain journals handle the publication. Things can be paid for. So that's where this controversy kind of comes in. And to everyone out there, just remember the reliability of all the science emerges from a body of evidence that's made up of rigorous studies that end up pointing in the same direction. So you can usually take the searches of what may be like happening, and then you have to dive into details. So this is kind of where I always talk about really looking at the actual publication. How many participants were involved? Was there any conflict of interest? What were the conclusions at the end? So really read through and see if there's other publications related to that that maybe have concluded the similar type of evidence that they found, or maybe noticed something different. And we noticed that with fibromyalgia, there was different variables in the past with some of the science research that wasn't accounted for. So, for example, with inflammatory values, maybe sometimes like they didn't take into consideration BMIs or correlate for that. So that's where it's like you also have to dive into details. But it's a good start for those of us who are doing some research when it comes to all of this. And then I also wanted to just include the definition of what peer-reviewed actually means, so we know what this is all about. So a peer-reviewed publication is also sometimes referred to as a scholarly publication. The peer review process subjects an author's scholarly work, research, or ideas to the scrutiny of others who are experts in the same field, so peers, and is considered necessary to ensure academic scientific quality. So this is what we want. We want the checks and balances in place. We want a full review of what's going on. It doesn't necessarily happen. There's a lot of articles that get published. It's good in it's good movement forward. And this is what we have to remember for when we get stuck with thinking one thing for fibromyalgia, and then we have to go further with the science, right? So I mentioned in different videos, especially when we're trying to do more research for fibromyalgia, let's take it and go further. We haven't necessarily gone far enough. And that's sort of what brings us up when we're actually doing reviews and research. I did want to point out, so there are different ways to search databases. So you have PubMed, Web of Science, Google Scholar, and more. So both PubMed and Web of Science are human curated databases. So Google Scholar is not. So this is kind of the key differences to learn. And I think at some point I can do a video to break down different ways to find literature if you're interested and compare these two. And you kind of have to know the differences, right? So some people just rely on one and that's what they just go with. But each of these three databases, they're very popular, but each is very different. So many people just choose to only use one without understanding the differences on the back end of these different search results. So just remember that if you're looking for different articles, that there might be some differences within each, and understand how they're curated on the back end, what you're expected to get when you're doing research. And some people is like, okay, well, if this is a patient centric, like, what am I doing? But, I don't know, because as patient advocates for ourselves, being healthcare advocates for ourselves, we may have to just dig in if we want to like talk to our providers this way. Or, I mean, providers may not all have the same amount of time to dig into the research. So if you are looking for something, this might be a way to go to dive in. And I'm going to talk today more on the complementary side when we're looking at complementary tools to maybe present to our providers as ideas or suggestions. Because sometimes it's like, well, we don't know if there's enough evidence, and this might be on you to dig up some more research to see if it can qualify and maybe move forward with your provider if your provider is more driven into that direction. So it's something to consider, and understanding what the search results what you're looking at when you do the search results in PubMed. So that's kind of what I wanted to go into today with you. And it was sparked honestly by an email. So as I mentioned, I've just been trying to figure out more topics that I can do daily with you. So I got an email from the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, and it talks about, practices of using PubMed, how to find information about complementary and integrative health practices on PubMed. So I've included the link in the description for you to go through this handy guide. It talks about what PubMed is all about, and how to find different studies. And I thought this was actually great because it's a visual tool. They give a link to the PubMed guide, but I really like how they laid it out because you can search for publications on different complementary health approaches. And you go here and it gives more of a visual description. So here they give the example of searching for echinacea. So how does this, and then what the search results present, kind of looking through the articles and what comes up. And of course, you can filter out different display options when you search. So I think it's just getting comfortable looking and searching online and understanding where this information comes. And again, you'll have to dig in deeper. So when you click on this, it gives you more information, but you just have to like dig in and understand how science is presented. And I know this seems a lot as a patient, in communicating it as a patient and what you need to do, but right now we're in a transition phase where with fibromyalgia in particular, our providers are going to be educated and we can't wait to launch Project Echo to educate them. But in the meantime, if you're really focused and you really think like this might work, this is another means to dig in. And I was very inspired by Dr. Terry Walls's story with this because she dug into the PubMed articles to figure out supplementation and those things. So it's definitely something to consider if you are trying to get your doctor more on board and show that there's other means to treating fibromyalgia. And you can search for fibromyalgia in these databases. You can look for different studies of what comes up, and then you can follow the paper trail of the science as well and get a better understanding of what's going on, because there was a lot of stuff published many years ago. So like we're talking possibly 2013. So it's nice to see if there's been updated information. And there has actually in the fibromyalgia space, there's been a consolidation of some of that past research and new like peer-reviewed research from a group of peers and other academics, and they've come together and aggregated that information and they updated it in 2022. It's a little difficult to find, so that's why, we share this information on the Support Fibromyalgia Network. So here's just searching for publications on complementary approaches for a health condition. So here they type complementary therapies and depression into the search boxes. And it goes through and it'll categorize some things for clinical depression, maybe some complementary treatments. So this might be stuff that you can take to your provider. You can email them the link to see if it has enough weight. And I hope that this is a unique and new way to work with your providers to figure out some of the other things that you might be able to try. Because it's in here. And I know with fibromyalgia, there's like about 186 different modalities that a provider can use to treat your fibromyalgia. So this kind of is, I don't know, it's just trying to empower our patient community to take some of this science and present it, because I know there's a lot of burnout going on with our providers, and we just want to get the information, we want to get the treatments that work. And sometimes we have to think outside of what is already being presented in public health websites on fibromyalgia. It's not going to all be about exercise and cognitive behavioral therapy. There's more things that we can do. So we got to do some more approaches. And maybe there has been research that's snuck in here about fibromyalgia that we aren't aware of, that wasn't circulated through social media, and was up to date. So that's something to consider. And I know there's a lot of research in fibromyalgia being done overseas. I would love to connect with those researchers. So you can kind of pull in all this database. And here it goes through Tai Chi. So understanding the studies behind Tai Chi, you might even connect it not only with fibromyalgia, but you could look through it with fibromyalgia and then chronic pain resources. So this is just a topic, and then you get full text articles. It's a really good, lengthy, but visual guide for you on searching PubMed. And here it goes into narrowing your search and understanding advanced search terms. So that's why I just wanted to share with you, just to kind of go into the guide a little bit more. And PubMed also has its own guide for you. So you can go through the other PubMed guide, but I kind of liked the complimentary one because it was really good visual representation. And I know sometimes we like that. So here's the PubMed user guide, and it was updated briefly. So they really want people to use this. So that's why I wanted to share this research with a resource with you and just kind of let you know what's available and what maybe out there for us to do and search for, so we can maybe work together if anyone's interested on looking up some other research through PubMed and some of these other resources. So if anyone's interested, I think I may actually do a video on comparing like what comes up. So let's search through PubMed for some fibromyalgia specific research studies, and then I can go and do the same search terms in Google Scholar, and we can compare what comes up and what we're learning and what we may see. So that's it for this video today. I just wanted to acquaint you with some of the resources available for us to research and possibly present to our providers for encouraging other treatment modalities for all of us. So I know it's the weekend. I hope everyone is having a wonderful weekend. Begin hopefully low pain days. Trying to explore a little bit outside. It got a little rainy over here in California, so we need a lot of rain um, over here as much as possible. And I got to get back to my vegetable gardening. So give us a shout out. Let us know what you're up to this weekend, what's new and good with you through the week. Next week is going to be busy. I'm going to try to do some more lives as I go up. I'm involved with Patients Rising. There's a virtual Hill Day related to step therapy, the Senior Care Act. So I'm involved with Patients Rising as I want to get better at being better at advocacy so I can bring those tools to the fibromyalgia community. So next week is pretty busy. We have a Hill briefing on Monday and then the virtual Hill Day on Thursday. There's a lot going on next week, so I'll try to keep you tied into what we're doing, what you can look forward to when it comes to that. I just want to give it a shout out to Dr. Michael Lenz. I did get the book, Conquering Your Fibromyalgia. I'll have to do a book review when I can. There's a lot on my table. I'm finishing up a certification for Apollo Health before I can get to it. But Crystal introduced me to him, and we had a really thorough conversation. And so I did get the book. I'm looking, and I think he has a upcoming webinar coming up. So we're going to try to get that coordinated to share. And he's a practicing physician in Wisconsin. And he has his insights on fibromyalgia. And I know he's done some podcasts with other fibromyalgia warriors out there. So we'll be sure to share the content. Just shout out to him. I will take some time to do the book review coming out lately, hopefully soon. And look out for us if you are on all our social media channels. We appreciate it. So you can find us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and even LinkedIn. So give us a shout out where you're there. Hello to all our friends here. Thank you so much. We're trying to do better at all this stuff. So just like what do you care about? What kind of content do you want to hear about? Leave comments. Let me know if there's videos. I know we're going to get into different topics when it comes to like sleep hygiene. We're going to do nutrition. I'm going to talk about the Walls Protocol. I'm going to talk more about health coaching. We are going to do more presentations on Project Echo and what we need. We need to find providers and get providers involved in Project Echo because we want to train healthcare providers, especially primary care GPs, on fibromyalgia specific diagnostic criteria. What is fibromyalgia, other treatment modalities? So if you have a provider that's interested in getting more medical education, have them reach out. We're going to be doing some webinars to just get more people involved with Project Echo for next year. We really appreciate it. But if there's other video content you want to know about, definitely don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful low pain day, and I will talk to you later.